I don't mind it if you want to switch.
Nah, we're good.
You don't have to be there. It's just you haven't ever been there.
Oh, no, I'll just do it because I haven't ever been here.
Try once.
Yeah, try it once. This is the beginning. We'll find our home.
We'll find our home.
Where we all like to be.
Just go to your home.
Go to your home, Ball. Don't you want to be at your home?
I guess these are all ripping. Remember not to get too close for the pops, but the last couple were pretty pop free.
Pop free, dude.
Pop free.
Pop free is the way to be.
Pop free.
Welcome back to Van Brain. People, we're back on this lovable Tuesday.
Van Brain.
Van Brain.
I forget how. Yeah, there it is.
Well, we'll get it. We'll do them. But I've been doing intros for our songs for the past two. It sounds pretty good.
That's right. I didn't check that
I was
out.
thinking that would be funny if YouTube fucking flagged them though. You know what I'm saying? For like copyright infringement.
Oh, man. That happens too much.
Ah, that's so
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
lame.
Wow, that's algorithmic. So.
You know, it just happened.
Yeah, I saw it.
All right, so how you guys feeling today?
Tired.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because the dad stuff?
Oh yeah, that, and
You
a little
did
bit
of playing video games until 5 a.m.
It wasn't 5. It was. I played until like 1. I did some choring and then went to bed.
I thought you guys were talking about a show.
We were talking about a show, but before you got here, we were talking about. He was talking about a video game that he's
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've been playing a game called Monster Hunter Rise.
Monster.
Monster.
in.
It's on the Switch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is it a multiplayer?
Yeah. I'm not currently playing it on the Switch.
Gotcha.
But
cool.
I plan on getting it for the Switch. Like used, it's like $20-something bucks.
Yeah, if you ever come across good games on the Switch, man.
Well,
let me know, dude.
I'm probably gonna
Tunic, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Tunic.
You know what? I'm just gonna throw them in my phone.
It depends also on what kind of games you like.
I mean, so
Yeah.
are these $60 games? Or are these like? Yeah, exactly. They're not $60 games.
Oh well, Monster Hunter. It's
is
on
it-
Game Pass right now. So I'm playing it for just like the
It's
monthly subscription
it's
fee that I
frustrating-
do for Game Pass.
$10
Right on. It's frustrating that like every Mario game on the Switch is $60,
Yeah.
and I swear they never go on sale.
Dude, go to
very
buy it at
rare.
Walmart.
Yeah, he's right.
Really?
Yeah, everything's cheap. All of the Switch
Like a
products.
physical copy?
But
Yeah.
get a used copy.
It's cheaper?
Yeah, well, used
Yeah.
ones for sure.
Well,
That
no,
makes sense.
even brand new.
Oh, really?
Even brand new. Yeah, Walmart sells the
Switch
Nintendo products for cheaper. It's like
So-
it's like $49 instead of $59.
Cool. Tunic and Monster.
Monster Hunter Rise. That's the one I've
I
been
don't
I
playing.
know
I'll
you
do
would
it.
like Tunic. Did you ever play? Have you played? Oh, it's snowing outside.
Yeah, it is
Yeah, it
snowing.
is.
Have you played Link's Awakening on the Switch?
I did.
So Tunic is exactly that isometric
Cool.
overtop thing.
Cool.
And you're this little fox, and you're trying to like basically the whole game. I think I told you about it a little bit before, but
Yeah.
it just instinctually feels like a Zelda game.
Totally.
But you find these pages of the booklet. That's like one of these like instruction booklets, you know.
Totally.
So you're like finding the pages of it, and it's just like this. It'll have like it's modeled just like that, but it'll show you like the parts of the game and the
Nice.
map. And the cool thing, you'll like go to the manual, and the place you are on the map has a little like icon.
Nice.
And it's just really sick. 'Cause
That sounds cool.
There's no like English language. Like there's a few little things
Yeah.
translated, but you just have to figure it out.
Is it a long game or is it shorter?
It's
You know what I mean? Compared to a Zelda game?
it's about the same
Awesome.
as like Link's Awakening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kill
So
it.
Link's Awakening is a little shorter than the.
He's
than
kind of
those.
short, yeah.
But the cool thing about it is it's also like a Dark Souls type game because you constantly die and go back to these like spawn points, and then you're like gems and money and shit like gets left there, and you have to go back and
Oh,
get
nice.
it. So
That's
it's a
cool.
lot like that where it's like. The gameplay is challenging, but when
Yeah.
you gotta like figure out ways around it, like
Totally.
to use the game against the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, if I throw these bombs at this guy, it's like easier than or whatever. You
Right
know,
on.
spamming shit, whatever. Feel like whatever you got to do. But that's a game that I definitely think you would dig.
Yeah, totally. Anything Zelda related?
Do you like
probably
like
gonna fucking like
like side scrolling games or like Metroid?
Like I played Zelda 2?
Do you ever play Metroid? Like Super Metroid? Or
Oh
anything?
yeah. I played a lot of side scrollers like on PC. Like back in the day when I was maybe fucking 10, playing like Mega Man.
Oh yeah.
Lots of Mega Man.
Well, they have all the Mega Mans and the
Sonic.
Mega Man X's for the Switch, and they have Mega Man 11, which is the new one.
Mega Man X was
Mega
my-
Man
oh,
11.
I loved Mega Man
Side
X.
scroller too.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Cool.
And
Well, I gotta put it down.
you should.
Dude, especially if it gets any type of nostalgia flow, nostalgia flow.
Oh yeah.
That's
Did you ever play like Ninja Gaiden or any of those type of games where you're like, jumping in like
Who used to
clinging
talk? Oh
and
no,
stuff?
you were the one that was talking about. I've seen you play that.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
Me and Winton
I never
played it in the van.
That's right. I seen you two play it.
Yeah.
When
You
I-
passed it
I
back
played
and
it a
forth.
little
bit.
Yeah, I remember that. Now.
I've played it a little bit. That
Yeah,
was fun.
yeah.
There's a game called The Messenger. It's new, and it's like Ninja Gaiden, but it's also like Dark Souls, where you like get stuff and level and you like procedurally upgrade your gear and like get better things and shit.
Nice.
The Messenger, that's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, there's this game coming out called Endless Dungeon. It's gonna be like a sequel of a game called Dungeon of the Endless. I'm pretty excited about that.
Is that like what it sounds like? Like a
Yeah.
procedurally generated roguelike?
Yeah, it's a roguelike, but instead of it being like you directly control a character, you kind of like set up defenses for a room, and your character kind of does his own thing.
Oh yeah. I like
And you kind of have like a resource system as you go through the dungeon where
Yeah.
you have to set up the resources.
that. You're like helping the guy get through.
yeah,
That's kind of cool.
That is cool. Kind of a different take.
yeah.
Well,
so
that's like
the OG
Oregon
is called
Trail.
Dungeon of the Endless, and it's really good.
What'd you say?
It's like Oregon Trail, where you're not
Oh,
playing
yeah.
as one guy. You're like
Right.
like managing this
team.
family.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, and then the cool thing is it's multiplayer too. So like you can have like up to four people all kind of like doing that at the same time.
You liked Hades, right?
I loved Hades. Yeah, I
Did
beat
you
it.
ever play
I beat it.
Hades? You might like if that's. Do you know what a
Sounds familiar.
roguelike is?
Roguelike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that anything like Diablo or something?
No.
Nothing like
It
that?
is kind of like that, but the thing that makes it a roguelike is that you Hades does look like Diablo, but what makes it a
Yeah.
roguelike is that when you die, you lose all your shit, and then each different run you get like better power, like you get unique like power ups and shit along the way.
Gotcha.
And you try to make the run as long as you can, but then when you come back, you can do like permanent upgrades. So
Yeah.
you like permanently upgrade your character.
So you
to
can
have,
go further and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So you're
cool. I
like
got you
doing
now.
like where dying is part of the game.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you get as
exactly.
far as you can, and then
Yeah.
you can like upgrade a little bit, and then get.
And then is it like the same? So is it the same space that you're navigating, or do you change worlds?
Yeah, it's usually the same loop.
Yeah,
where you-
exactly.
But there's some games do it with procedurally generated dungeons.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like this game I'm playing now that you might like if you like that. It's called Heroes of Hammerwatch. It's mad cheap. I got all the DLC, like all of them for like $20.
Nice.
It's like the full edition, and you just like you like pick an adventurer class, and then you go like you have like a town that you go through this dungeon and you get these ores and shit, and then you got to send them back up, or else if you die you lose them. So you got to constantly be trying to like manage that to like get them up, and then when you die you go back, and you can like use those ores and shit to like upgrade the blacksmith so you can like get better weapons and like upgrade this guy to get that, and
Yeah.
so and then you level up your different like your wizard and your whatever and your ranger, and you just like level up your guys and try to get as far through the thing as you can, and it's different every time.
Yeah.
And then like every so often there's a boss, and then it'll be like, oh, the mines, and then the prison, and then the this and that, and then
Nice.
the enemies change, but it's all like that, almost like bullet hell, where like the enemies are just like swarming, and you're just like. So it's a little like Smash TV. I don't know if you've ever played that. That's like old. That's like Super Nintendo. But that style of like it's like a mix between Vampire Survivor, Bullet Hell, and fucking like Hades.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, almost kind of like you ever play Enter the Gungeon?
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Enter the Gungeon's super fun.
yeah.
That one's. You can get a bullet that shoots guns.
The Gungeon.
Enter the Gungeon.
I like-
Get a bullet that shoots
I really
guns.
like that. I really like that. I can't picture it. Is it like just a really smooth big bullet
Yep. And then
that you'd think it looked like?
Yeah.
Is it gold or silver?
It's like cartoony.
It's like it's pixelated, cartoony,
Yeah,
and then he's got a
exactly.
big bullet and he shoots it, and
And
then
what
a gun
kind of
comes
gun?
out and it spins, and as it's spinning, it shoots.
It's like an M16 or some shit. Like a big.
A bullet that shoots guns is just awesome.
Yeah, a bullet that shoots guns, dude. Guns that are shooting bullets.
So good.
Yeah, smaller bullets.
And
a big bullet that shoots guns that shoot small bullets.
Well, and a lot of the enemies are all like bullets and stuff too. And you get a gun that shoots the alphabet, so it's like a rapid fire like machine gun, and it's like A B C D E F G over and over and over again.
Nice.
That's funny.
Yeah, Enter the Gungeon's a good game.
I have to be in the right mood for video games these days. Like, I find like there's like a game like Vampire Survivor or like an arcade game. I can just play a short little bout of it. But I feel like games these days are getting more and more like these epic endeavors where I gotta invest like 200 hours into it, which is all well and good. But I don't always feel like that.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, do I want to play fucking this?
Especially with someone. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people like you, but you know, I'm not. Like, you come from a heavy background in like retro games.
Well, yeah, those
Which
were
is-
just games back then.
Yeah, which are now
Same.
Yeah.
you know,
For
very
sure.
very different. Although like Zelda 1 is kind of is like a really like low resolution version of that, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Isn't Zelda 1 kind of especially what's the word, significant because you can go anywhere
Absolutely.
right from the beginning?
Yeah.
Which is kind of the feeling that they want these games to have.
Yeah.
But it's
You know?
it's very much ahead of its time.
Yeah, that
It was
game.
very
Yeah.
revolutionary in terms
It's
of games.
so nuts to me.
At least, my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, everybody
Absolutely.
knows.
I mean, you can trace it back. There was like games like Adventure for Atari where it would be like you would have the open world, but you'd be like just a little sprite. And like it's like the UI wasn't like
Yeah.
it didn't look like a game. It was
Yeah.
just like and all the like the cryptic nature of it was even harder to like even understand because it's like fucking Atari. And it's just like, what is this little, square with an X? Oh, well that's the dragon egg, and you gotta get that and bring that back. Like you would have no way of knowing.
Right.
So not only was it like that's the scope of game, but it was like the fact that they were able to have those graphics. It was
Right.
like it blew everyone away.
It was like so immersive
Yeah.
and real.
And really, even though Link's movement really improved a lot on subsequent games with did you ever play Link to the Past, the Super Nintendo one?
Yeah.
He can move like diagonally and shit.
Right.
It's like similar to the first one,
Right.
except for he can move better. So it's like, yeah, the first one is limited and still kind of like the first idea of
Like
it.
physics wise.
But man, that game is awesome.
Yeah.
I play and beat that game at least once a year.
Yeah. That's like a cool in between because it's not super big. You do have to invest a little
Yeah.
bit of time to beat it,
Yeah.
but you can beat it. I don't know how fast you can beat it, but you can probably beat it in
I
not
can
a
beat
large
it in
amount
like
of time.
3 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, well, 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
And that's not like speed running. That's just
Yeah.
I do it a way that most people don't do it. Because you do there's like 8 dungeons or whatever, and then you go to the Death Mountain. So that's the way people usually play it, is they go dungeon 1, 2, 3 through 8.
Yeah.
But the way I'll do it is when you get the blue ring, you take half damage. And when you get the magic sword, you do 3 times the normal starting damage.
Yep.
So I get those things right away, and then beat the game.
Right.
And so what that
That makes
means
sense.
is you're going around to all these areas where you got to bomb and burn bushes to like get the moblins to give you the bonus cash. They're like, here's secret cash. And then you go around and get all the cash till you have 255 rupees, and then you buy the blue ring. And then you're getting like geared up, and then there's a few hearts that are on the overworld that you can get without having to beat bad guys.
Right.
And then you get enough so that you can get the white shield. I mean the white sword, and then you got to beat a couple before you get the magic sword. But still having that like double damage, half damage, that right away, it's like makes everything so easy. You're one hitting people and taking little damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the way to go.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Fucking
Zelda.
yeah, Zelda, man. I was gonna say I also don't get the urge to play video games much these days.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I do find myself playing them, it's like out of nostalgia, and it's usually just because I was so into them when I was younger. Played a fuck ton of games, but none of like today's games. Like by the time Call of Duty and everything was popular,
Yeah.
I had fallen off.
Sure.
You know.
Me too.
So now I just play it's so weird. I almost only play games that are scratching that Zelda-ish itch.
Yeah.
You know.
What about
it's-
like a Mario Kart or like a Mario Party? or
if I'm
something
doing like
that?
what's it
Smash
called?
Brothers.
With people?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, that's true. Video games
so-
is almost
you play for different reasons.
Well, so
Yeah.
for me, when Halo came out, like Combat Evolved, like I didn't have an Xbox, and all my friends were playing Xbox, and my mom and my dad got me one that Christmas, and got me Combat Evolved, and what we used to do.
This was like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was a kid, right? And
Thanks.
one of my neighbors had a bunch of friends, and me and him were friends, and we would get together and play on like split screen all the time.
Yeah.
And we would get together every Friday for the longest time, and we all had TVs, we all had Xboxes.
Right.
We had four of everything.
Tournament.
And then we had 8v8 games.
Yeah.
For hours, like all day Friday, like every week. And that really solidified my love for like multiplayer video games. And I really saw, like, I was like, man, like if this was something that was accessible that I could do regularly,
Yeah.
I would do that. This is amazing. And then shortly after that, when Halo 2 came out, well, not shortly, but when Halo 2 came out, they started really doing like online matchmaking and stuff.
Yeah.
They were like kind of like more or less the like pioneers of like the matchmaking system sort of deal. And then I was like, oh, online gaming. This is the literal shit. This is exactly what I want out of games. And then, it's just kind of gone that way.
It's pretty awesome that you got to get that as a human being.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen, you know?
Yeah.
I never liked online gaming because I was always a fan of like the couch co-op, like the being in the same room.
Yeah.
Like me and Chris, my roommate Chris, we're playing through the Last of Us games because the show's out.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to play that game by myself. It's like because we watch the show together. I feel like I watch him play a little bit. I play a little bit. You die,
fun.
you switch the controller. Like.
Yeah.
I feel like couch co-op used to be for one-player games too, where you'd like sit and me and Chris will sit down and play Mario. Like that's one of the bonding things about me and him when I found out. Like I went over to his house before he moved over here, and he just had a Nintendo with like
We have a story with that, yeah.
the Lost Levels, like not even.
Oh yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
not even Mario 1, but the Lost Levels. And I was
That's our story, dude.
I was just like, dude,
it's like
I was
He's
like,
still
dude,
playing it.
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a game that we when he finally moved in, I was like,
So fun.
bro, you don't just like Mario, you like the hard fucking, like,
Yeah.
that's like the fucking deep cut Mario game.
Dude, we had a lot of fun playing that game with him.
Yeah.
Getting fucking
Like
ripped up in his room.
Lancaster shows.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, just going up
Yeah,
there,
we
and
would hang
now
out
you
with
just
him.
yeah,
Yeah. And just blaze.
yeah.
And get our asses
He's known for that
kicked.
too.
Yeah.
Get our asses kicked.
That's a massively
Yeah.
hard game. That's a game that they like.
We were getting pretty good though.
It's basically like. Do you know about that game?
What?
The Lost Levels?
Yeah. We played it with
No,
Chris.
but do you know why it wasn't released here and everything?
Oh yeah, what? Because what they thought it would be too hard for us.
Difficult.
Yeah, no,
so-
it definitely like it's like these days you'd have a DLC, which would be like a hardcore like gamer mode,
Yeah.
and then that's what it would say on the game. It's like this is for like super players.
Well, what wasn't I don't know. I might be
No
wrong
bullshit.
about this, but wasn't Super Mario 2 made in a rush and kind of like a
What, the one that we got?
yeah.
No, it wasn't made in a rush. It was basically what happened is. No, it's well documented online, so I won't
Yeah.
go into everything about it.
Yeah.
But to make actually this guy, the gaming historian Norm, he does a fucking amazing thing on it, the history of it. But to make it a short story, they had it's like Fuji Television or something had the rights to these characters, and they had the team, the dev team that made the Mario games, make this thing, or maybe it was like Panasonic, I don't know, some company for like their like 100-year anniversary of being a company. They were having this huge like thing in Tokyo, and as part of it, they were going to release a Nintendo game because that was like, why not? It was the height of the popularity. So they made this Nintendo game called Doki Doki Panic, and it had 4 characters. They were all like this like Arabic like setting, and like the Shy Guys, and like all these things that like Birdo, all these things that were I think Birdo looked a little different, but like a lot of it was the exact same game.
Like staple Mario characters.
Yeah, and then here you go to Nintendo of America. and they get Mario 2, The Lost Levels, which was just, the same graphic set, harder fucking levels,
Right.
brutal. The guy plays it, he goes and hits the thing, and then the first thing that happens is the poison mushroom comes out, and he gets it and dies, and he's like, oh. The Americans are not going to like this. So he's like, we got a big problem here. We wanted Mario sequel, but this is not it. And they were like, essentially the gameplay and the physics and everything about that other game was let's make it like Mario as much as possible, but have a different IP and like make it in this different land,
Gotcha.
So it was already Mario-ish. So they're like, what about if we take these characters out? Because they didn't own they just owned those characters. All the gameplay and everything else was owned by Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So they just wholesale swapped, those 4 characters out for Mario, Toad, Peach, and Luigi, and boom. And so much of that
That's so
is
nuts.
just like that's the first game where you had a playable Toad. Like Toad became a staple then. Because before that, he was just one of the toads at the castle. There was a toad in each one.
Right.
And they weren't even called that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that a lot of that came from just that game. Shy Guy Birdo, a lot of that. And that game's fucking real hard. And in the Japanese version, you have to beat every level with each guy to beat it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it had a save on it. It was one of the disc games that had a save on it.
Nice.
Damn.
Where the one we have doesn't. But now I can play that game and beat it in 20 minutes. So,
That's nuts.
well, you use warps and shit.
Oh yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
I can do the Mario. They call it a Super Mario Hour is what they call it. But you play Mario 1, 2, and 3 in 1 hour and beat them in 1 hour. I can do that.
I used to play the shit out of those, but dude, the Mario game, and really the console that always got me was 64. But Mario 64,
Shit.
Oh yeah.
that game's so good.
Yeah, it's really well
I played
done.
that so long.
So good.
I've beaten
It's
it multiple
incredible.
times.
Yeah, multiple playthroughs.
I remember renting that when it first came out because I had already.
Like Blockbuster.
Oh yeah.
That was what a beautiful experience.
So good. I got it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was blew my mind. It was like nothing else. Because it was like coming from literally Super Nintendo to that.
Yeah.
Because that was before PlayStation came out.
Well, ultimately, that was the game that made me like. So like, my parents were always pretty cool about getting me like systems and stuff, and that game, playing it at my cousin's house, was what made me say to my mom, like, I want an N64.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want a PlayStation, Mom. I want an N64.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so that's what they got me.
Yeah,
So I feel the same way.
dude, N64, it's so true.
Yeah.
That console
GoldenEye.
changed my life.
GoldenEye.
You see GoldenEye is on the Switch now?
Yeah, it's also. I think
That's
it's on Xbox too. I think it's
What?
at least on Game Pass.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I bet it. Well, did you play it?
No, I didn't.
I bet it's weird because those games had like auto aim. Like there's only one stick for aiming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's like, I was playing Resident Evil 4 the other
interesting.
day, and it was just like so hard to play because coming from modern games, like
Yeah,
in that
I thought
one,
about that.
you
There's
you
a
move
standard.
like this, and then you hold down on your weapon, and then you can do this.
Yeah.
It's like whoa.
Yeah.
There's a standard for games now.
I wonder what
that's
game
different.
I guess it's closer to the FPS. Like a first-person shooter was the first game I remember playing where you had
Well,
two sticks.
Right.
I'm almost certain that there's definitely modders who've like modded the game online to work for a controller, like the same way that we do it now. So I mean, it probably comes across well.
Maybe.
Yeah, N64 is core memories. Core memories there.
Yeah.
Wave Race. You ever play Wave Race?
No.
That game was awesome. It's
played
just
a
like
lot
a jet ski racing on the
Nice.
64. Cool borders.
We played. I didn't play
Or
fucking.
1020, 820.
What's it called? I played Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh yeah. You didn't play Mario Kart.
Not Mario Kart. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I played Diddy
played
Kong
the
fucking
Mario Kart.
Racing, dude. It's so crazy. Not many people did. I never
didn't.
realized
No,
that
no.
growing up. It's just like, why didn't we have Mario Kart? That's so weird. We had
Because that was
everything
the
else.
$60 game and Diddy Kong.
Maybe it was. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing, great game though, dude.
Yeah.
But it was like that, Star Fox.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Star Fox 64 was great.
Big one.
Oh my god, with the Rumble Pack,
Yeah, with the Rumble Pack.
dude.
The 2 Star Wars games too, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Well,
Shadow of the Empire.
Oh, I was actually gonna say pod racing, but yeah, Shadow of the
I
Empire
only
too.
played
The
the
three,
one, John, with like
3
the
Star Wars games.
Is it like an X Fighter? Is that what they call that?
Yeah,
And it has like a tan looking the color. I'm trying to figure out which Star Wars game I had.
Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, it had to
probably.
be that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Rogue Squadron.
What was the other one?
Could
Yeah.
you pick which ship you used?
Yeah.
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 It was Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
That
Still,
game
I
I
was-
think-
played that. Not as much.
I
That
think
game
as
was
good
so
as
good.
Rogue Squadron was, I still feel like Star Fox 64 is the best like Star Wars game. You know what I'm saying? Like just the jet.
game is
you're
so good.
You're jet fighting the whole time. There's
Yeah.
dog fights. There's like the Star Wolf fight where you're like jetting around, and then you multiple pathways. What?
Dude, yeah, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
I played it for a long time before my
You
older,
went a different
my
way.
older cousins.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And when you go, you've got to go through all those little warp things.
Yeah,
To warp ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
mind blown. Great game.
I
Yeah,
remember
Star
how I
Fox
got
was
that
amazing.
game. I had very bad sinus surgery that needed to happen.
That sounds horrible.
I still am pretty stuffy
Sounds
most of the time. But yeah, I had to get it's like a deviated septum, but they couldn't quite fix it. But it was like they basically put me under and then went up there and just like ripped a bunch of shit out. And I had galls in my nose for like a week, and I
Damn.
couldn't sleep sitting down. You know, you can relate to that. And my grandma felt so bad. Could I buy you a video game? You know what I mean? Like literally,
Yes, you can, Grandma.
literally.
Yes, you
Is there
can.
something I can buy you to make you feel better? Star Fox 64 with the Rumble Pack. I'll never forget it.
Had
That's
it ready
so
to
good.
go.
And that was back. I don't know how you guys were back then, but like video games, you weren't getting them all the time.
Exactly.
That was like once or twice a year.
Yeah.
For
So true.
a big like. We didn't have a lot of money, and that was usually grandma doing it.
Yeah.
She was the one.
And
She
there
would
was
get,
there was a lot of renting.
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna
so,
say.
yeah.
yeah.
I would rent games from Blockbuster sometimes.
Exactly.
They'd let me rent them, and then.
Well, we would rent shit all the time.
Yeah, man.
But my parents were pretty lax with, they were pretty cool with getting me video games.
That's cool.
And then I would I would do a lot of trading with friends. So I got
Sick.
to play a lot of games. That's actually how I got to play Star Fox, was trading it with a
Nice.
friend.
One of the only times I stole
Oh, game
was an N64 game from someone.
shit.
Oh,
So
no.
funny. I was like fucking 6 or
from
some shit.
from someone's house.
Yeah, from my friend's house.
Yeah.
And it was fucking Pokemon Stadium.
Dude, I couldn't believe it.
The only other time I stole, I'd don't steal, but I did a couple times, you know.
That's crazy
I know
that-
what it feels like.
Pokemon has been around as long as you have been alive. That's fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
the only time I stole was a Pokemon card, Zapdos.
That
Holographic
Pokemon is
Zapdos.
it's something about Pokemon.
When did that come out?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Late 90s.
Oh yeah, I was born in '94, so.
Oh no, it was after that. But no, if you were 6, that was in 2000. That's when Stadium came out.
That makes sense.
I wonder.
2000.
I'm just like do I have a Pokemon game in here? Oh yeah, Pokemon Yellow. It's not gonna say, but this is the Nintendo port of the game, which is kind of cool.
That's
So you
sick.
can play. This is Pokemon Yellow with the Pikachu. You know,
Yeah.
the Game Boy game.
Totally.
You can play it in a Nintendo.
That's badass. Yeah, I played the shit out of that game on Game Boy.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And my son and daughter are both really into the newest one, Scarlet and Violet. And what they
Nice.
do now is they've always done that, where they have like
The two.
the whole Pokédex is not on one game. You have to have both of them,
Yeah.
so you can trade.
Right.
But it's dope though, because they're not playing multiplayer, but they're playing almost different maps a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not exactly like just playing the same game. It is a slightly different game.
Yeah, and
Which
they
is
can
kinda
share the elements of both.
Yeah.
Like they're
There's-
almost doing it together.
Yeah, there's
Like, are we
certain
gonna
legend-
team up? Or
yeah.
team up or spread out?
or be like, ooh, if you find one of these, I'm looking for a
Right.
shiny one of these.
That's
you
fun.
know,
Yeah.
They can trade in a way that I feel like that's cool about those games.
Trading was always very difficult when I was trying to do it back in the
with
day.
the Game Boy
Yeah.
or with the fucking 64 hookup.
With the Game Boy, or,
mean,
whatever.
yeah.
I think maybe even just Game Boy to Game Boy.
Yeah.
I was probably a stupid kid though. Dumb kid. Just because kids are dumb.
I was never a Pokemon fan.
Yeah.
I liked the card. I liked the cards. I thought the cards looked
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And I liked the show.
I like the show.
You're like, I like the show and I like the cards and I wore some shirts. And
But no, I mean like the games. I didn't really like the games.
Gotcha.
Were you not an RPG fan, or you thought
I'm
interested?
I'm just not like I'm not as into turn-based
Right.
games if that turn-based game isn't relative to like movement. There isn't like some sort of like I don't like Final Fantasy,
But you like Chrono Trigger?
but I like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay, yeah.
What's the
Right.
difference?
Well, those are different games entirely.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
real-time strategy game versus a
Well, they're two turn-based
turn-based.
games. Yeah, they're both turn-based.
It's turn-based, but it's a real-time strategy. Like tactic is like you have multiple characters that you
Yeah.
move on the board.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
when they're dead, they're dead. And
Right,
you know,
right.
Yeah.
It's
But-
more of like a zoomed out version.
Well, you would like Tactics Ogre then,
I've played Tactics Ogre.
the new one.
Oh, okay.
They just remade it.
Okay.
Yeah, for modern systems.
There-
So
there's
I just-
also Disgaea. I played a lot of Disgaea too.
Yeah.
Disgaea is basically a Tactics clone.
Sorry,
but
but you were saying
different.
about Pokemon.
Well, yeah. Well, Pokemon is that same. Like, it doesn't really have that. Like, you
Yeah.
walk around, you have two. They come out onto the stage. This one does an attack, then you do an attack, then this one does an attack.
Very polite.
And it's very like there's no like movement, right?
Yeah.
There's no like
Interaction.
3-dimensional space that you
Yeah.
have to.
Did you ever play Chrono Trigger?
Positioning isn't really.
Positioning. I see what you're saying. now.
Yeah, positioning
Yeah.
isn't really a thing. Like, whereas in
Yeah.
Tactics, like if you rolled up to somebody and you were on a higher elevation than them,
Yeah.
You're gonna miss.
and you attacked them,
Yeah.
no, you would do more damage.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And if you were lower,
you're
like you would do less damage.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And like if you snuck up behind them and attacked them from behind or something like that, like there's like a
Yeah,
bunch of
there's
like
Rules.
positioning based like tactics.
Yeah.
And I'm into that.
It's an extra dimension to
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
See, my
cool.
reason that I don't like the Pokemon games is that I do like the Final Fantasy games, but Pokemon is like a Final Fantasy game with bumpers. Like, it's just too easy. Like,
Yeah.
you can't really lose.
Gotcha.
And it's like, not only can you not really lose, but it's like the whole game is about collecting and leveling up more than it is about like weapons and like spells and like Final Fantasy, you're like upgrading your character to be stronger.
Yeah.
And I guess you do that with the Pokemon, but I don't know, it just feels like too easy for me.
It's a little basic. It's a little
Yeah,
more
it's
basic.
super like so,
Yeah.
but for kids,
For sure.
Like he couldn't sit and play Final Fantasy VII,
Right,
and like know
exactly.
how to pair materia and like, oh, if I have poison with my weapon, then I'll do poison damage, and like
Yeah.
this guy's weak to this, and there's a little bit of that, but like I feel like it's like a beginner's RPG.
The first time
know?
you ever played
Yeah.
an RPG game, give them fucking Pokemon Stadium.
Absolutely,
That's fair.
yeah. That's cool. This guy, I never played that, but what about like an action RPG?
So I mean,
But,
I
you
really
know,
loved the
correct.
Knights of the Old Republic games.
I didn't play those.
Yeah.
Huge fan of those. I played both of them. I didn't play the Old Republic, like the MMO version of it. I didn't really like that much, but the two like RPG games, they were
So
really good.
I mentioned it a few times. You didn't say anything about it. Do you not know Chrono Trigger?
no.
Okay,
no.
so Chrono Trigger is Akira Toriyama.
Okay.
So it's Akira Toriyama, who is famed from Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and all that stuff. So the entire artwork is that the whole time. And
Same
you,
artist. That's awesome.
And you play. There's like 31 endings. You're traveling through time. You can have like many people on your team. You go through different periods of time. But it's action RPG, so positioning matters, and you still do. It is turn based.
Yeah.
But like if you flank, like you use two of your people to flank somebody, not only can you like do more damage flanking, but you can combine people's attacks and shit in that one.
Mm-hmm.
We can do like the one person does fire, the one does like a spinning like thing with their sword. They can do a sword flame, and this is like regarded. This is obviously the Japanese version.
Yeah.
But this
I checked it
game,
out.
this game is regarded as one of the best games of all time.
Yeah, I've never played it, but I've heard of it.
They have it
yeah.
for
Why it be looking like a movie up in this bitch? Looks like a fucking VHS.
yeah. That's how games look in Japan, like the Super Nintendo games.
That's so cool.
Yeah, open it up.
How do I open that?
One of the ends has a tab.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, so he designed the characters, and then the sprites look like that too. And so that's the one reason I think you would like it. Is
Yeah,
it's,
that's right.
it's fucking Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, I do like me some Akira Toriyama.
But it's a great story. You go through all points in time, and you know, I really like the frog and the robot.
Yeah.
And the one guy, Magus, he's like a bad guy, but you can get him on your team because you're all fighting against this like impending thing called Lavos, and there's like no recorded time after Lavos, so you can like go all the way up to like the end of the world, and then at a certain point you unlock the ability to go to whatever period of time you want to like you solve the game that way. It's like really cool. Yeah. And like I said, there's like 30 different endings depending on how you do it.
That's wild.
And like, yeah, it's just wild.
So the cool thing about Disgaea 2 is that there wasn't any like level caps for anything. There was like I think there was like four or five digits that you had to work with that you could get all the way up to 9. And one of the cool things that you would do is you would go to like these lower level areas.
So close.
And you would
Come on.
It got to the point where you couldn't really get experience without doing this once you got high enough level, but you would go to a place that had a bunch of enemies and you'd pick them up and throw them into other enemies.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they would like create one that was like kind of
worth killing
times both of them, and you could do that with like the whole map. And so like there was this one map that we would farm where we would take like the characters and then grab all these like zombies and put them all into like one big zombie and kill them with like 3 like huge ginormous hits and get like a shit ton of XP.
Nice.
Which would be like a quarter of what we needed because we were like 1,500 or something like that.
That's a multiplayer game?
No, but we would pass the sticks.
Yeah.
Couch co-op like you were saying.
Yeah. Passing sticks.
Yeah, passing sticks.
Yeah, that's fun. I pass sticks with Zelda games.
Yeah.
Everything comes back to Zelda for me.
I don't mind doing that. I used to do that with the early Resident Evil games. Me and my uncle Matt would rent when I stayed over at my grandma's house when I was with my dad. My dad would usually like go out. I mean, he's much younger than most dads, so he would be like, having this kid probably like in his 20s, like, all right, he goes to bed at what, 8? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go out party with my friends or whatever.
Yeah.
But my Uncle Matt was there, and he'd be like, yo, I got the PlayStation, got Resident Evil 2. And we would turn the lights out, and I was like, I must have been like 10 or something, but that was fucking scary shit.
Yeah.
And we'd take turns and, walk through it, and I remember that fondly.
That's awesome.
It's like, it wouldn't have been as good by myself,
Yep.
Certain games, certain experiences in general are best shared.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
When Mandy and I were younger, our house was a little more of a community. You know what I mean? We had a lot of people come over, and
I talk about that sometimes.
At one point in time, in that we would have a bunch of people over, and they would all force me to play Outlast.
I don't know that game.
Oh, it's a pretty scary game.
Gotcha.
It's a really scary game, honestly. And we would turn off the lights. There'd be like 12 people behind me, and I'd just be like, "Wow, maybe that's exaggerating, 8 to 10." But I'd just be sitting there, and everyone would be behind me telling me what to do. Like, "Oh, dude, bro, dude, go!" Like, we're all making fun of it. I'm trying not to be scared, but
That's
like
great.
I'm like screaming, like everyone's screaming.
You still remember that to this day.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. Really fun. Got like halfway through the game before I was kind of like, "Okay, guys, I can't do this. I'm done. Like I'm good."
It's crazy how things become mainstream over time. Like I was thinking about that. Like maybe there was video game culture was still big back then. Like, but it wasn't. It was only a portion of the people playing them. And then those people get older, and now everybody younger than them plays. So I just feel like the industry is way bigger than it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the concept of people our age, well, I'm younger than both you guys, but people our age just like ending up in positions, like just like, even the cashier or just like your doctor.
Yeah.
Or just like, it's crazy now, like they're all like my age.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, it's becoming the time where like we're where our parents were.
Yes.
And it's fucking strange.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's fucking strange. It goes right along with the idea of like, wow, nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody's just kind of running around.
Well, this one of the strangest things is when you kind of like hit that at like 21. You know what I mean? Because like when your parents had you young, it's just like, whoa, I'm like doing nothing but a bunch of drugs and fucking up.
Yeah.
And my parents were parents.
Right.
So wow. that's a sobering thought. You know what I mean? You're
That's
like,
wild.
You're just like, whoa.
It hits you even more when you're like a parent. Like I'm thinking,
Yeah.
or like right now, I was talking to my mom the other day. My mom had me when she was 16, when she was really young. So I was like, thinking about it, I was like, Mom, when you were my age, I was 23. Like what? Or like whatever it is,
that's
20,
wild.
22. Like
That's wild.
I was a straight up like, but I never saw her as like that close in age.
Yeah.
It was always like,
Totally.
because that's the way
The perception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Way
man,
more important than numbers.
like this is a person who's like a young person,
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
so
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't hit the age where my dad had me when he was 30. And I'm 28.
Yeah, 30 was what I did. 30 is a good
Yeah.
started off.
30 is
That's what
I-
you were always going.
30.
Would you do 31?
That was. I mean, we
I forgot.
started trying at 30.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
I was 30, we were
Yeah.
trying. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you had that planned forever.
Yeah,
I
what?
It's
Yeah.
so funny. Not funny, but interesting.
Well, at least for me, it was the seeing 30 come up and be like, well, that's good landmark as any. Like,
Yeah.
like I know I want kids, and I
start to
should
formulate
stop
the
waiting
idea.
for it.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That was kind of a little bit.
It's like I should be an adult by then, right? That's 30, right? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a number. That's high. Nope.
Yep. It was kind of sort of a similar thing where it's like, we both knew we wanted to be parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 30 is like, okay, yeah, like
Milestone.
like
Yeah.
I know too with like Mandy, like, her time is more limited than mine,
Yeah,
so
Exactly.
let's get her done.
Makes the most sense.
How much younger is she than you?
Like 4 years.
Yeah. That's usually the way it is. Three
Like
or four.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Betsy's 3 years younger than me. Yeah.
Danica and I are born same day, same year. What's up?
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, that is wild.
Crazy. I don't believe in astrology. But she not to the extent that people who believe in astrology
Yeah,
believe in
it's
astrology.
interesting, though.
You know what I'm saying. I can
Yeah.
talk about it and
Yeah.
elaborate on that concept.
Yeah.
I'm not
There's
writing it
there's
off.
a level of woo that everybody can
Exactly.
get
Yeah.
down with.
You understand.
Yeah.
But apparently our charts are like really, really crazy.
You're
Like,
twins, bro.
Yeah, when people look at astrology, it looks like we're twins and not
You should
like
check
boyfriend,
with
girlfriend.
your mom. Make sure there was no
What's crazy is
giving
that
up.
we actually grew up, I was born in Arkansas, but my family's from Pennsylvania and Mannheim. And so I grew up on Auction Road, and then she grew up in East Petersburg.
It's not that far away.
Yeah, and it was technically a Mannheim address. It was like 2 miles that we lived from each other.
Weird.
Yeah, and I was just like for years and years and years. And now we're fucking.
Now you're fucking. Well, that's good, man. I mean, it actually it's
wild.
it's great to see both of you sort of like with your match,
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are like with somebody and you're like, okay, I'm glad they make you happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you guys I mean, if either of you had a deviation from your relationship, I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
It would be uncharacteristics of everyone involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty fucking sick because that's rare, right?
It is.
It's fucking rare.
It's hard to find, that match. It really is.
It is.
Well,
even sometimes you get a close one, and
Yeah.
it's just not close enough.
The thing that I'm always kind of personally proud of in our relationship and impressed kind of that we've kept it up like that, but it's we're still very affectionate towards each other.
Yeah.
And it's been 12 years and there really
Totally.
hasn't been a loss of I love you.
That's
you know what I
awesome.
mean? And
Yeah.
I want to be around you.
Yeah.
I want to hold you and
you're
be
also
close to you.
very dedicated to your wife.
Yeah.
Some people are married and they're it's just a part of their. It's an extra little thing.
Yeah.
She's your world,
Well, we didn't get married early on in our relationship, and getting married to us was more a celebration of our love,
Yeah.
not
An obligation.
not an obligation. We got married because
You love each other.
we love
Yeah.
each other, and
It's
we wanted
supposed
to
to-
do something that
That
symbolizes
represents it, yeah.
Yeah.
that commitment.
Yeah.
Um,
And it probably doesn't even do it justice.
yeah,
To some degree.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I
Because it's
remember
like a side
saying,
thought. It's not as important as the real thing,
yeah.
right?
Oh, well, exactly. I know.
Yeah.
I kind of one of the things I said is I just really don't want it to change anything about how we interact with each other.
Right.
Right.
I want the way we interact to stay the same. I don't want it to be. If
Yeah.
anything, it's a little deeper.
So that's how you felt going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It was one of the things that really, because like originally I didn't want to get married because
Right.
I was kind of, because I'm not religious. I'm like, wow, who fucking needs
Yeah,
marriage?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then,
Yeah.
The contrarian in you.
and
It's
then
in me too. I feel that.
and Mandy, you know, she felt similar, but not exactly the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, she's like, I still, you know,
Would.
fantasized about being
Yeah.
married when I was young, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, so did I. You
Right.
know, but eventually I was just like, man, like I think this would be a great thing for me to like give to her. You know,
Exactly.
change your last name. You know, all that good
Oh,
stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's cool.
I was like, I remember it very clearly. It was that night that Winton almost got beat up in Philly.
I do remember that night.
I was fucking wasted, and
You're gonna have to loop that story in. You brought it up.
Yeah, okay.
You heard that story, right?
Dude, there's so many,
all right.
so many
That's a wild one.
line towing stories.
I'll
that I don't
loop-
know. Maybe I did hear it.
I'll loop it in. But yeah, we were wasted, and I had been mulling it over for like a couple months, like how I felt about it,
Yeah.
and really thinking about it. And I was super wasted, and all of that had already happened. We
All
were
of
in
what?
Philly.
All
All
of
of all of the story I'm gonna loop back
Yeah,
in
yeah,
had
yeah.
It's a little
already
bit
happened.
of drama that
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
And I'm drunk. We had just gotten these like beads. We bought it from like this monk dude who was walking down the street, and I was like, "I'm gonna marry you. I promise. I'm not. It's not just because I'm drunk. I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm gonna marry you." She was like, "Okay." And then 6 months later, I proposed.
Nice.
So wait, 6 months later.
It was like 6 months to a year.
I was
think
gonna
it
say
something like
that. So the almost getting beaten up in Philly situation must have been right before I joined the band then, because I was at your wedding.
It was, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was like one of the last times that we had.
It's hard for me to remember that.
It was one of the last times we had played that Blocktoberfest. It was the most recent time we played
Got you. I definitely was not involved though.
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So it was probably a year.
What was that? Me?
I know, I
was,
can't-
was that Jay?
Yeah. No.
No.
I don't remember.
Was it Tyler?
We were all wearing the
I can't
hats.
remember, dude.
It was
No,
not
the
Tyler.
hats- the hats-
It was not Tyler.
Oh, the hats. It was
was
Jay.
Yeah, the hats.
The hats.
The
The
hats
hats
were
were
in.
in.
So you know if there's hats, no hats, or masks.
It's so funny.
Well, he
Which
still wore a
band?
hat with
Yeah, basis.
He still wore a hat with Anthony too, though.
Still, it was the all or nothing on the hats.
I'm actually kind of forgetting exactly when that drunk night happened. I do remember what show.
It's all
it
right.
was.
So let's
Yeah.
just get to the meat of it.
Oh yeah, so like the story that we're gonna loop back around is that we were really drunk and Winton was going around this really cool festival that we were
Street
playing
festival in
Yep,
Philly.
Big street festival, super drunk,
Blocked off the roads.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
and he was walking around and he was goosing people, pinching people's butts,
Oh shit, I've heard about this. This is great.
and he walked up to this group. Of
This is right after he had an interaction where somebody like handed him a bottle of Jack, and he just held it up and just poured it in his mouth and all over his chest. Like that had already happened at one point before this.
In the same
I don't-
day.
Yes, in the same day.
And so then he was doing that, and he kind of just like picked the wrong group of people and did it to them, and they turned around and they were really kind of like super offended by it.
Yeah.
But like not like in a I feel violated way, more like in kind of like a homophobic way.
Oh no.
And they like
Right.
basically were like, "I'm gonna beat the fucking shit out of you." And he like backed off, talked his way out of it.
Yeah.
So then later on that night, it's closing and everybody's kind of getting ushered out of the
Out of the space.
out of the space. And we're all sitting there by the exit. And these dudes are walking by, and Winton's like leaning kind of like against the railing as they're walking by. And a dude just comes up and just kind of like takes a swing at him and hits him. But because of how the hat was, he kind of like gets grazed and the hat flies off.
So the hat saved his life.
Yeah. So the hat flies off, and the dudes run and try to steal the hat.
Oh yeah.
But Winton, fearless, because it's like 5 pretty big dudes.
It's so true.
They were not like, I would not fuck with them.
Nope.
But Winton just
There's one
literally charges at them. You're
one
not
with-
stealing that.
One with the liquor.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he grabs it and tries to start wrestling it from the dude who
yeah.
ran after the hat.
Crazy.
And they all start running in. And then, of course, I had just gotten... It was last call, and I just used our drink tickets to get, like, 4 more drinks. And I, like, put them down to get, I guess, go try and bail him out with... I was going to fight.
Yeah,
And try and get,
exactly.
like-
That's what
like-
you do.
Yeah.
You run in.
Fight or
I was
flight,
like,
bro.
wow, okay, all right.
It's gang time.
I
Yeah.
guess it's time to do that. And then as I put the drinks down and started walking that way, 2 huge security
Bouncers.
guards,
Oh, yeah.
bouncers, just...
Yeah.
And they were massive, and we're not going to have a problem with dealing with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're
so-
like, oh, well, I'm not needed here.
Yeah, then I was just like, all right, back to my drinks, And Mandy was in
Did my duties.
Mandy was going to the bathroom, and so she
That's wild.
only really saw like kind of the aftermath. Our drinks were kicked over in the scuffle.
See, that's
some
such-
drinks that we had.
How differently things are now. We don't even drink.
I don't even drink alcohol now.
Like,
Yeah.
that seems like a fucking
That's so
lifetime
crazy.
ago
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
It feels really good.
Oh,
Clarity
yeah.
wise.
to not drink.
Yeah. Gotta say. You guys
Yeah.
have been doing it for a while, probably.
It-
On
it-
and off, or not necessarily on
Yeah.
and off.
Well,
but
it's-
like,
it's-
it's not that you don't drink.
It's
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you.
Well, to me, it more or less is that I don't drink.
It
but,
is,
but like, it's not like
It's pretty close for me.
It is pretty damn close, but there's a time like sometimes you'll have a drink when you
I
do
drank-
D&D.
Yeah,
exactly.
I drank like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
It was
So
awesome.
I'm not. See, that's why I say that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
For me, I actually don't drink, not even a sip.
Yeah.
Because I want to do other things. Then.
Yeah,
You know what I
that
mean?
is true.
Yeah.
So, but I have like, there's alcoholism in my family, and addicts.
Yep.
So I gotta watch out for that shit.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, I could take a sip or have a beer, but
Right.
usually when I have a beer, I kind of regret it.
Exactly. You don't
Yeah.
even like it.
Yeah,
That's how I am.
I'm
now.
just like, oh man.
That's what happened like the last 2 times I drank, which was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it.
Well, but for me, it's just because I don't like the alcohol. Alcohol as a drug, I do not like.
I don't like
just,
the feeling.
I just don't like the feeling.
Neither
I
do
get
I.
from
It
it.
doesn't make you play better.
No, it doesn't make you play better.
And
It
most
doesn't
of-
make you feel better. It actually makes you feel worse if you pay attention.
Yes. Yeah.
Same
if you
with
pay attention.
same with Coke actually.
And
Yeah,
you-
exactly,
And,
same
and
with
you
Coke.
got to drink enough to not pay attention.
Exactly. That's what it is.
But then when you do that, it still sucks.
Yep.
Because then you end up drinking enough that you don't remember what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, there's just these periods of time where you're not controlling your behavior.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I
Well,
don't
it's,
want
it's
that.
not. It's not a drug. It's not.
Such
So
a-
coffee, drugs like coffee or even weed.
Caffeine.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Like
Yeah.
it will augment you in a way that maybe is enhanced in some way.
Yeah.
But like alcohol, maybe it's a little bit of a social lubricant.
Yeah.
There's maybe situations where it's it's nice. Like at a wedding, I don't know. There's
Yeah.
certain times where drinking is good, but never for me do I feel like when I'm about to like do serious work, get on stage and play for 2 hours.
You need like
Am
2
I
beers.
like, let's get drunk? Like
Yeah,
that just
yeah.
seems like I'm there to work. Like
Yeah.
I would never drink and then go run. You know?
Right. That's
and
fair.
playing to us for me is athletic enough. Like and putting my whole body into it and like, it just seems like I wouldn't want to like just from that perspective of like I wouldn't want to give the audience anything less than
Yeah.
I'm capable of.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to be anything less than. But when I smoke, that's almost like filtering out the anxiety of the audience because when we jam, we're stoned as fuck.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So sort of like that's like par for the course.
Yeah.
So I don't mind.
Sounds
that.
bad.
It's not bad. At
I don't
all.
like to do it just because my mouth gets dry.
Yeah, that's fair.
But other than that, it's kind of fun. But I honestly, I like smoking and writing or practicing and writing than I do smoking and playing a show.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It's just pot is so good for creativity.
I feel like you have a little bit more to remember too.
Yeah.
Like what Alex and I are doing is like 75% feeling it out.
Yeah.
And you have more solos and like things to hit. and
Keys.
to nail.
Yeah, no,
Key-
for sure.
Oh, bro, if I play it in this scale, it might sound like shit.
Or just like
You know?
remembering
Fret off.
a new
Yeah,
song, or
fret off.
like you just have sort of
That's
more
true.
mental things going on.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, that's not to say that you guys don't have a lot going on, especially Alex.
No,
He's
and
using all of his limbs.
harmonies are like that. But that's
Right.
another reason why I wouldn't want to be drunk or really fucked up is
Exactly.
because I do have things that I need to.
It doesn't like there's
So
a
Alex is just back there feeling it like 100%.
if you like I used to drink 2 beers,
Dude.
and then go on.
I know.
And that would help. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It feels fun.
And it was the same way with social situations. Like when I would talk and try to socialize with people, I would drink 2 beers to relax the anxiety. But after being sober for a year and a half, in my experience, there's more confidence without alcohol.
Yeah.
Just because you learn and you're closer to yourself in some sense, and you're not switching it up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no, what's the word? There's no crutch or like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
It's a different personality.
It's a different confidence that flies out of you.
Yeah.
And it's more stable. It's better.
I know for me that like I'm definitely can't get as I can't get as high before a show anymore. I
Exactly.
can't because I took that break over when I had like COVID. And
Oh, yeah.
and that break like
Your
literally
tolerance,
just
you mean?
Oh yeah.
killed
Yeah.
my tolerance.
Yeah.
And like I just don't feel like smoking enough to build it back up again.
Yeah, I mean it's never.
You know what I mean?
Why
It'd
go
be-
out of your
no.
way to do
Yeah,
that?
it'd be like a chore.
Yeah, that's weird.
That tolerance was cultivated
anything-
over like 10, 15 years.
The
You know what I
tolerance,
mean?
like the tolerance thing becomes an issue
Yeah,
anyway, which is what I'm
I've
dealing with.
Never had that problem.
yeah.
I smoke weed every day, and I get high every day.
Yeah.
I've never got less high or felt like I needed to take a tea break.
Yeah,
I mean,
I want to take tea breaks, but I don't.
I mean, I would always see, but I always got to the point where like I smoked so much weed, where being sober almost felt more like being high than being high.
Yeah.
Like
I guess I don't
being
know.
high.
yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Like when I went through a day, being high was like my typical.
Staying high.
Yeah, I would like stay high. I would like wake up, with a bowl on my chest, and fucking start smoking weed as soon as I woke up. I mean, that was like so much of my life.
I
do
feel like
wake
some
up.
people need that though.
It's like morning coffee.
Sometimes like if I find in my life that I'm like really frustrated or like just
Overthinking.
not feeling right,
Yeah.
and I smoke a little bit of weed.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It helps me with nausea a lot. If my stomach's not feeling well physically,
Yeah.
and I smoke a little bit, that does wonders.
Yep. If I'm in pain, it helps me if I'm in pain. Like if I'm. Like I remember
Yeah,
helps
when
you
my tooth was
just-
fucked up,
Yeah.
they gave me Vicodin for it, and it would like not really work that well. Like I would still be in a lot of pain, but then I would fucking
That medicine's weird. It's like a blanket effect.
smoke
Yes,
a big
you know.
fat bowl that was like, got me really, really stoned. And by the time I was high, I was feeling better.
Well, the
Yeah.
one thing that the being high does, like sometimes if I'm feeling depressed or like just don't, when you just have that bland feeling where you're like, nothing sounds appealing to me right now. Smoke a little bit of weed and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, there's all these things to do. Or like the thing you have to do, you're like, yeah, that's fun.
That sounds fun now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That
We should-
that is the thing.
We should wrap it up though.
How long has it been?
It's been about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Video games,
I'm
marriage,
glad we got
and
off
weed.
of video games. Like that was such a good video game convo.
It was
but I was
most
like,
of the
I'm
episode,
glad we
yeah.
moved on a little bit towards the end.
Oh, it would have been
Yeah.
fine if it was all video games. But it was video games.
It would have been fun,
marriage,
but
and
I'm
weed.
happy I moved.
Yeah.
That's the name of the episode. Video games, marriage, and weed.
That's good.
Video games, marriage, and weed.
All right.
Yeah.
Van Brain, guys.
Van Brain.
We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for
We'll
tuning
have
in, y'all.
a special guest, Dylan Madar, on. Looking forward to that.